Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Connect to Florida. Today we're going to be talking about Naples, Florida. We're going to take a little bit of a different approach to this today. Now, usually we're talking about affordability of the area and the interest rate and the HOAs and the sky-high prices. We're not even going to touch on that today. We're going to go a completely different direction. So let me just walk you down the path. You're 72 years old. You have managed your money well. You worked your entire life and you are ready to retire. Your wife and yourself, you are ready to retire and move from up north somewhere where it's cold all winter long. You're over it. You're done with it. You are not going through another winter, and it doesn't matter to you what the interest rates are because you're going to come down and pay cash because, like we talked about, you managed your money well, you prepared for this, and you're ready to move forward. And you have targeted Naples as the place that you envision yourself living. And in envisioning your life in Naples, Florida, you're thinking about downtown Naples and walking up and down 3rd Street South and listening to the guitar music and a good meal, a good dinner, and then maybe a couple nights a week you get appetizers and a glass of wine while you listen to music and walk up and down the beach. Your wife enjoys doing a little boutique shopping and you want to do some golfing on the public courses. You want to play pickleball, all of those things that we love about Florida. You are ready to do it. You've vacationed for 10 years. You're ready to make the full-time move. All right. So we're going to have a little realistic talk today about this because I just want to share with you, my friend, the brochure living is very different than the real life living. So when you come down with the brochure and you know where you can go shelling and you can do the boat rides and you can get the best deals at the restaurants and all of these things, maybe you're coming down for 2 weeks, maybe you're coming down for a month, and maybe you've been able to come down for 3 months in the past. Now you feel like you're ready, you've lived enough, you know you want to be here. But what I want to share with you today is the things that no one talks about. When you live here full time, it is different than the brochure. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, as always, my channel, this is not to bash any area of Florida. I live in Florida. This is not to bash Florida. But the purpose of my channel, what I like to do is give you the good and the less good. And then you make the determination if the less good is worth it. I like to give you all of the pieces of the puzzle and then you put it together in the way that it works for you. But I feel like I'm not doing my job as a real estate agent if I don't give you the good with the bad. So if this is the first time that we're meeting, I want to introduce myself. My name is Barrett Pastor, and I've been a real estate broker for 26 years. So hopefully I'm coming to you from a place of knowledge and experience, and I can help you navigate all things Florida real estate. So today, let's jump into the things you might not have thought about in considering moving to Naples. All right, number one. There's a lot of wealth in Naples, you know that. If you can afford to move to Naples, you know there's a lot of wealth in Naples. If you visited any length of time, you know this. What there isn't is a lot of people that can service the wealthy. So you've got that great wealth and you have the people that are going to the golf shops and that are going golfing and pickleball and going to the grocery stores and going out to the restaurants. But who can afford to live in Naples to service those people? And I know service is kind of a word we don't like to use, but when you think about the service industry, when you think about people that are filling a need, so the people that are hairdressers, nail techs, mechanics, cooks, waitresses, chefs, people that work at the Publix, people that work at the sandwich shops, those are the people that keep the wheels running. Those are the people that are so integral in the community to keep things moving forward. Where are they going to live? So let's say you work at Publix and they pay you pretty well. They pay you $17 an hour. But even at $17 an hour working full time, can you afford to live anywhere near Naples? I would say you probably can't even live in Lehigh. You may have to go all the way out towards Immokalee. And when you're out that far, at that point, you're driving in an hour to work, and during season, it's probably going to be at least an hour and a half to work, and the same thing back. So it becomes something that's absolutely not doable. You'd be far better off to work closer to your community at that Publix and make the same amount of money. And even if they were giving you $1 or $2 more per hour to come into Naples, it still isn't worth it. So sometimes people don't realize that with great wealth in a specific area, you do have a lot of things like restaurants and high-end shops and lots of stores, lots of places that entertain the very wealthy that come into the area and live in the area. But who is there to work at these places? If it is so unaffordable that nobody can get within an hour of that location, you're gonna have an Achilles heel in that industry. The next one I want to talk about, and this one gets me. I mean, this one hits hard for me, but the nurses have to come from somewhere. We have the same problem with the nurses. They are not paid enough money to live in the near area of Naples. They're just not. Even if they're paying you well, it's still not enough to afford housing in the area. I know of doctors that have left the area because they can't afford to live in Naples. That is the absolute truth. So if you think about that, if you're in this beautiful area because you want to have a wonderful lifestyle in your golden years, part of that is going to be good health and good health care. And if you can't find good health care because nobody can afford to live in the area except the super incredibly rich, that's not going to do you any good. There are so many people that I know of that get their health care up north. So like, for example, in Boston, I can think of several of my clients that are from that area. And when something starts to go wrong, they immediately get on a plane and go up to Boston. That's a problem. How do you live life like that? What if you have a heart attack? What if you have a heart attack and you're in a position where you have to get your care here in the immediate area and they have nursing shortages? This is an absolute fact. They bring nurses in from the other side of the state. Now lately, that's been a crisis over there as well. But I will say, I believe, what I hear anyway, the healthcare is a little bit stronger on the east coast of Florida versus the west coast. But they've been bringing nurses over from there, from Daytona, from other areas, and incenting them to work like at NCH and other hospitals in the area because of it being so short-staffed. NCH has actually closed entire floors in the hospital because they don't have the staffing. And then what happens? Well, then you have waits. See, that shouldn't be. When you have an area that is so desirable, to have such an Achilles heel like that the healthcare is a problem, you know, like I said, can you get sort of like your maintenance healthcare in your home state? Yes, you can. But if something is going wrong immediately, if you have a tooth that needs a root canal immediately and you can't find a dentist, I promise you this. There was a sign up in Fort Myers, and if you live in the area, you may have seen this. There was a sign for almost a year at a dental office, all lit up, that said dentists needed at the dentist office. I always talk about the Bullseye. So if the Bullseye is downtown Naples and you're on the outer rung somewhere and you just slid into Naples, you saved your money, you can make it work, you're just sliding in there, you might feel some kind of way, okay? You might feel some kind of way, like, although you were the big fish in the pond in Michigan, when you come here to Naples, you may feel like you're the minnow. You might feel like, I don't belong here at all. And I have had so many people say that to me. So many people say, I thought I was going to love it here. I vacation here all the time. But I've realized that I don't shop at Fifth Avenue South all the time. I can't shop down there. I can't keep up with people. You know, I have people at my club that are spending $5,000 in a day on clothing at Fifth Avenue, and I can't do that. You know, your grandkids come in and they want to play, and I can't bring my grandkids to these 5-star restaurants. I don't want any part of that, and I can't relate to that lifestyle. I'm somebody that worked really hard my entire life to be able to afford. I prepared to move to Naples, and I'm on the outer rung of it, but I'm getting it done. But where I shop and where I go to the beaches and where I golf, there is great, great, great wealth. If you're that person and you don't meld well in that environment, you might feel some kind of way about that. And I guess to sum all that up, I would just say, if there is extreme wealth and no one else, that is, as I say, an Achilles heel that's hardly ever talked about. We haven't even touched on concierge medicine. Have you heard of that one? If you haven't heard of concierge medicine, you should look that up, because that's a whole nother video. But if there's extreme wealth and no one else, then for the extremely wealthy, even if you are in that category of being someone that's extremely wealthy, you are still going to have problems, because limited staff at the shops, limited staff that can give you a massage when you want one, limited staff when you want to get your toes and your nails done, limited staff with the hairdressers, limited staff at the restaurants, limited staff with the chefs that you can come cook for your friends. All of these things, even if you are in that extreme wealth category, that is going to affect you. And the great equalizer of all of them is healthcare. Because listen, we're all walking around in similar bodies. Some of them are a little better taken care of than others, but we all need a doctor. We all need good nurses. We all need that. That is the great equalizer. And none of us are going to have that available to us if we're in a situation where it's great wealth and nothing else. So these are the things I just want you to think about a little bit. And I would say there is a solution to it. And the solution is just get a little outside of that super wealthy area. Just get a little outside of it. Estero is a great choice. Come up north a bit. Venice is a great choice. There are Englewood, another great choice. You know, there are areas that are outside of the super wealthy area. Are they cheap? No, not at all. Do they have some of these problems with staffing as well? Yes, they do. But when you're in a community, that's why I think Sarasota is a good choice for a lot of people, because there are a lot of people that can come from outside of the area, like I'll use Parrish for an example. That's close enough that you can afford to live there, but you can drive in and work in Sarasota. In Naples, I mean, you are driving in season, well over an hour and a half just to be able to work at your job and get home. So those are just some things that I think you should really think about when you're considering a move to Naples.